So with the machine having a fixed IP address and machine name, we can now move forward, and what we want to do is convert this machine into a domain controller. To do this, we need to add some features and roles to the machine, and from the Server Manager wizard this is reasonably easy. You can add a role and feature, and it tells you all about it. It mentions having a strong password, static IP address, and the one thing we haven't done is security updates. But we can skip this page by default because we're going to be in this wizard quite a bit of time. It's always going to be a role based installation on a single server. We only have the one, and it's going to be this server here. Again, we only have the one. So the first role you'll want is Active Directory Domain Services, and when I tick the box it will offer some additional roles which we need, and so when we reach the roles page they are already selected for us, and it tries to sell us Microsoft Azure and tells you what you want to do, at which point we can install it. Now the theory is you can close the wizard at this point and just wait for it to happen, but I much prefer to watch the installation bar work its way across, because at least I know what's happening in the background. And there we have it, it's installed. We can close the installation wizard. You'll notice up here beside the flag we have an exclamation mark, and that notification is telling us that we have some post-deployment configuration to do, and that's to promote the server to domain controller. So we'll just start with that. So we're starting a complete new domain here. So what we need to do is add a new forest, and we're doing it for a company that's called Dillydale Limited, and we're on a virtual machine here. It doesn't matter what domain name you use. In real life you'd have to go out, check to see if it was available, and then purchase, or as the case is, rent it from a provider. So I'm going to go for dillydale.ltd. It checks to make sure it can't find one of those in existence, and it asks us what functional level for the forest and the domain we need. We've only got the one server, so 2016 will be fine, but if you had an older server on the machine, on the network somewhere, you would have to take the functional levels down to match that of the servers that exist at the moment. It's going to install DNS automatically. We need that for sure, and it's going to install the global catalog. It asks you for a restore mode password. This if you've got a problem and you reboot into basically safe mode. It should allow you to recover your Active Directory. So again, I'll provide a password. It does come up with a DNS error. That's because DNS hasn't been installed yet, but that will cure as we work our way through. It will look and give us a NetBIOS name, a shortened version of the domain name. Hopefully it'll choose Dillydale. It has. It asks us where we're going to store the files. We've only got the one hard drive on this machine, so the default locations will do us inside the Windows folder. it'll give us a brief view of what we want to do. New domains being created. It's got a NetBIOS name of Dillydale. It's acting as 2016 server levels. Global catalog and DNS is coming along with us, and the database is there. It then says DNS will be configured and it'll be used as its own DNS server, and it'll create a new administrator user, a domain admin, but it'll use the same password as we are currently using. It then does a quick check to make sure everything required is installed. We will get 1 or 2 error messages, that's to do with DNS again, but we certainly won't get any errors, I'm hoping. So there we go, a couple of errors telling you about cryptography, the DNS which I expected, but everything else has passed successfully, so we can now hit install. So it'll start installing, and when it's finished it will ask me to reboot, and then we will have our domain up and running. So it's successfully converted it as a domain controller, and it's going to sign me out and reboot the machine, and that will be our domain created.